Welcome to the Overflow Worship Podcast, where we serve and support leaders so you can serve and support your local church.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Overflow Worship Podcast. I'm your host, Andrea Olson. So in this current season, guys, we are throwing a lot of additional podcast content at you because we have a lot to share and we're super excited about it. I know I am and my whole team is as well. And so today is kind of a bonus episode that I wanted to share with you, and it's going to be short and sweet and to the point. So let me get right to it. The Overflow Worship Conference is coming up very soon. It's coming up in October on the 7th and 8th. It's in Wilmer, Minnesota. And I just wanted to share a little bit with you about what to expect. Now, some of you have actually come to the conference simply because you're a podcast listener and you heard about it and you bought a ticket, got in the car, and came to see us. And we absolutely love that. Now, if you don't know what the conference is, I'm just going to tell you really quick. The Overflow Worship Conference is for worship leaders and entire worship teams. And our goal is to serve and support the local volunteer-supported worship team, local church volunteer-supported worship team. And what we do at this conference is we provide very practical, usable tips and tricks and tools for you to implement within your context. All of the things that we provide for you at this conference and through all of the ministry of Overflow Worship is to make sure that the tools we provide are applicable to your context. You can tweak them, you can adapt them, but they are things that you can bring to the people that you are serving and to the teams that you have. And so a lot of the things that we do are very hands-on. We have some amazing presenters coming this year, and all of them align with this vision of coming alongside of you in the local church volunteer-supported worship team. And so I just want to highlight some of the guests you're going to be hearing from on the podcast as a precursor to the conference. So in the coming weeks, I'm going to have a really fun episode with my friend Clayton and McKendry Tucker, because we are going to be doing a session for bands at the conference. And we want to help you as a band learn how to thrive, to play together with excellence and ease, to understand your role. And McKendry has toured with Carrie Job for a lot of years. He's a studio musician. He's a producer, just an amazing talent, but he has a heart for the local church and he understands the local church worship team context and just has a lot of wisdom to give from his perspective as a keyboard player and as a band leader. Now, Clayton, who is actually my producer, he produces all of the music that I put out since 2020. Now, he is coming at it from the perspective of a worship leader, but also one who lays out the tracks and one who plays acoustic guitar and also, leads the team in a volunteer-supported context. And so the three of us together are going to be teaching a session, and we wanted to talk about that in a podcast just to give you a little bit of a taste. So that's coming up, which I'm super excited about. Coming up on the podcast in a few weeks is you're going to hear from Mike Harland. Now, if you were at the conference last year, you know that he was the favorite. Everybody on their surveys afterwards said he was the favorite, so we brought him back for part 2. And so you're going to hear from him and just get to know him a little bit in the podcast to help you get ready and excited for the conference. And I'm also really excited to share Mark Harris with you. Now, Mark Harris was a part of the amazing group For Him back in the 90s and early 2000s. Mark is an incredible songwriter, has had countless #1 radio hits, but he is also a worship pastor. He's currently over worship at Gateway in Dallas, but Mark has also been a part of the team that has mentored people like Carrie Job and Cody Carnes, and it's just amazing to hear the wisdom that he has to offer. And so I invited him to be on the podcast so that you could get a little taste of what it's going to be like to learn from him and worship with him at the conference in October. Now, somebody else that I'm super excited to have at the conference this year is Brian Tabor. Brian Tabor is the founder of the viral Instagram account Worship Leader Probs. And yes, they seek to encourage through humor, through encouragement, and through just being a light to people, but also he is on the ground pouring into worship leaders and churches day in and day out. And I'm really excited for you to hear from him and hear his heart behind the ministry on the podcast in September. But also, he's going to be hosting the whole weekend at the conference, and there's lots of fun surprises in store. So that's coming, which I'm super excited about. And also, Jan Smith. Now, Jan Smith is my vocal coach, but she's not only my vocal coach, she has coached and still coaches some of the voices that you listen to on the radio today. Elevation worship, passion worship, people from Bethel music, and also people in mainstream music. I mean, she just has been doing this for decades and is incredible at what she does. And so what I asked her to do is to come into the conference and give all of our vocalists like an intensive for the day, which is it's going to be incredible, you guys. I cannot wait for you. So make sure, worship leaders, that you bring all of your vocalists because they are going to get like a day-long masterclass from her, and it's going to be absolutely golden. And so she's going to be doing just a little snippet here on the podcast to give you a taste of what's to come as well. And so that's just kind of a rundown of what's coming. Why am I telling you all of this? To hype you up about the conference. It's going to be amazing. And to also tell you, like, buckle up. We're releasing podcasts like every week from now until the conference, which is kind of new for us. And it's a lot of work, but it's worth it. It's worth it for you guys. So here's the deal, okay? Mark your calendars, October 7th and 8th, and then hop over onto our website, overflowworship.com, and get all the conference info and buy your tickets, guys. We are capping it at 150 people this year. Why are we doing that? Because we want to make sure to preserve the small, intimate atmosphere so that our classes are small and you feel comfortable to raise that hand and ask those questions. And also so that as you rub shoulders with the other worship leaders that are attending, you have the opportunity to see them multiple times throughout the day and get to know them a little bit. Sit together at lunch or just learn a little bit about what's going on in other churches. And so that's why we're doing this. And the second reason we're doing this is because our focus is on developing relationship. We want to know you. We want to get to know you. I want to get to know you. And so in between when I'm leading worship or teaching a session, like I want to have the chance to say hi to people and chat. And so we're keeping this smaller, more intimate setting for that purpose. Now, my heart is that you would walk away with this excitement that allows you to lead from the overflow, not the overwhelm. Because let me tell you what, if you lead from a place of being overwhelmed, week after week after week after year, you are on the path to burnout. And we, every single one, Chris, McKendry, Mike Harland, Mark Harris, Jan Smith, they are all living out longevity in ministry. And I want every single one of you to have that. And so I just come ready to take notes and learn from people who are doing that. They are walking in longevity and they have amazing practical tips of how to do logistical things, but also from a spiritual and a leadership perspective, what does it look like to, from day one or from wherever you're at right now, start living with longevity in mind, because that's what we want for you. So mark your calendars, get your tickets, bring your team, and we will see you in October.
You've been listening to the Overflow Worship Podcast. If you enjoy our podcast, please take a moment and leave us a 5-star rating and a written review, which helps us reach more people. New episodes are released every other Monday. So until next time, thank you for listening.